the Savannah State Forest in north central Minnesota, making our way out onto a remote lake. We're getting a nice bit of snowfall today, and the wind is whipping, making this a bit more of an adventure than I anticipated. But it's not the snowfall that we're going to have to stay on top of today. Rather, it's going to be the bitter cold, with temperatures dropping well below zero later on.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're back at it. We're out on the sled on a pretty awesome lake here. We're going to be doing some hot tent camping for the first time in a very long time. As you can see, I've got a sled towing behind us. I got all the gear packed up in there, strapped down, and we're making our way to an island where we're hopefully going to set up camp and just enjoy a solid day of camping in the snow and overnight in some pretty cold temperatures. As you can see, Ellie is nice and comfy, and we are well on our way to finding camp, so let's get there. Big island. Looks like we've got, you know, some benches, and I'm sure there's a fire ring up there. We should do just fine. Let's get up there. Come on out. Good girl. This definitely looks like a nice campsite. Got ourselves a nice wide open area here for the tent. Benches, fire ring we'll uncover. Great shelter from the elements. I mean, if you look around in here, you're only seeing a couple little flurries, but outside the trees, that snow is just blowing. And would you look at that, we got some firewood too. That's a big deal. Heck yeah.
Now it's time to set up our camp. I decided to haul in a little bit of dried firewood to get us started. However, I will have to go cut some more later on. The first thing I want to do is get our shelter set up and then get some heat going with the wood stove.
So I've got a brand new hot tent here, and essentially it's the same thing as my other one, it's just bigger. So where my smaller one I wasn't able to stand up, I kind of had to crouch around. This one I should be able to fully stand up inside, and it'll just be a lot more comfortable. All right, guys, so we got the tent set up, stove is in place, and I want to show you, I've actually got a brand new wood stove that we're going to use on this trip. It's from Northwoods Fabrication. I have another stove of theirs in the travel cabin, but this one is more for a camp setup, and I'm really excited to have it. You're a good girl. Feeling warmer? All right, a little pasta and French bread heated up in the wood stove. Come on, doesn't get much better than that. Rye makes really, really good pasta, and it tastes almost just as good the second day. I love it. Well, I think it's about time we cut some firewood. We definitely want a nice stockpile for the night, and I think it's important to get that done before we head out on the lake to do some exploring. We are going to have a bonfire tonight as well. I brought some firewood specifically for that, so we've got that. We just need to cut some for the stove so that we can stay warm all night. Whoa! This guy right here is a birch, which is some good hardwood. It's awesome firewood. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up a few pieces here and come back with the sled. We'll load it up and we'll split it back by the tent. Starting to sweat. It's not good when you're out in the cold, so gotta shed a layer here. This is a massive layer too. Oh boy. This right here is a solid load of firewood. I don't think there's a chance we'll burn through all of this overnight, even though the temperatures are going to drop well below zero, maybe even down as low as -15. But this is a lot of wood, and there's plenty more out there. So We'll just get this in the tent, get it all ready to rock and roll, and then we can head out on the sled. All right, guys, before we head outside and continue the adventure, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Everyday Dose. It's coffee, but better. It takes the flavor that we know and love from coffee and combines it with functional mushrooms, collagen protein, and nootropics to promote focus, energy, immunity, and gut health. So what they did is they took 100% organic fair trade coffee extract. That's what gives it the coffee flavor and the energy. But it's important to know that it's low in acidity and is safe for any stomach. Now, you guys know me. I love my coffee, but I've struggled with acid reflux for the last 5 or 6 years or so. And so when I'm struggling with reflux, I use Everyday Dose because it has the perfect amount of caffeine, only 45 milligrams. It's just enough to give me that boost without the crash later, and making it is incredibly easy. You just add 1 scoop to 4 to 7 ounces of water, and then you're ready to go. If you want to give it a try, I recommend going with the starter kit. You get some Everyday Dose coffee as well as some free gifts. I love the rechargeable frother that they gave me, but I also love this travel mug. It's super easy to bring it on the go, and it's also dishwasher safe, which is awesome. And so if you want to try Everyday Dose, make sure you follow the link in the description. And don't forget the starter kit. You get to try Everyday Dose and get some amazing gifts every single month.
The temperature is now steadily dropping. When we arrived today, it was about 18 degrees Fahrenheit. But at this point, we're at about 10 degrees, and it's continuing to drop more and more every single hour.
All right, guys, so we're gonna head out, cruise the lake a little bit, and check out 1 or 2 of the islands. I definitely want to check out the big island first. It seems kind of cool. The sun is setting, if you can't tell. So I don't know how long we're gonna be able to stay out, but hey, let's go have some fun. Well, we got another camp here, and this one looks really nice. Almost nicer than ours, to be honest. I like this fire ring with the little grill. Got a little table here, and then, I mean, it's just so open to the view, you know? Man, definitely a beautiful spot. I really love this wetland area here. Reminds me of our cabin. All these spruce trees. I bet you there's at least a couple more campsites on this island. It's huge. It's very thick. Finding it hard to make my way through it. Well, guys, I was hoping we'd reach some sort of destination, either another campsite or something, but I'm just kind of wandering through the woods here. Sun is going down. I still want to have a fire, so I think it's probably best to head back to the sled. Oh, and this is how bad accidents happen, you guys. Oh, I just put my foot in between 2 logs and I tripped. I could have easily snapped my leg there. Oh man. I know I'm out here like every single week in the middle of nowhere, but constantly learning and getting reminders like that. Got to be real careful when you're alone in the wilderness. All right, guys, let's get back to our island.
As soon as that sun went down, it got dark quickly. I decided to go in and start a fire inside the tent just to keep things warm before coming out and building a campfire. Definitely getting a lot colder, but thankfully the fire is giving off a little bit of warmth. And man, do I love sitting out here. It is so peaceful. Hey, Al. Glad to have you join me. Yeah, come here, girl. Yeah. Good girl. She's been keeping warm in the tent for a while, but I figured she couldn't resist coming out for the fire. All right, so now that we're in the tent, it's time to get some dinner going. Ellie's already eating, as you can see. I'm super excited for what I'm making tonight. I'm gonna be doing some pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes at that, with bacon and eggs. It's gonna be the perfect comfort food for tonight. Jeez, it is a little windy outside. Man, oh man. First pancakes I've ever made. Not great, but they're still gonna taste good. They are, you know, hard. They solidified. I'm just gonna eat this food as it comes out while I finish these pancakes here. I'll get some more on the griddle, and then we'll do our bacon and eggs afterwards. Dear God, thank you for this food. Help us to stay warm and safe tonight. Amen. All right, it is time to dig in. Here we go. Oh yeah. That's a chocolate chip pancake right there. Mmm. So good.
You know, thankfully the pancakes taste just the same, whether they're perfectly sculpted or broken apart. Love the chocolate chips too. Reminds me of the good old days eating at Perkins. Now some bacon and eggs. Bacon tastes great, of course. It feels so good to be sitting by this fire. It's keeping it toasty warm in here, even though it's 0 degrees outside right now. It's 0, and in 40 minutes it'll be -1, and it's saying the low we'll hit overnight is -8. Alright guys, it is time for bed. Ellie is on an insulated sleeping pad and she's in her sleeping bag, and I have an insulated sleeping pad on my cot with a -20 degree Fahrenheit bag. So even if the stove goes out, which it might, I'll be good. So will Ellie. So that's the idea. All right, guys, it is time for bed. Unless something unexpected happens, we'll see you first thing in the morning. Wish us luck. Good night. Good morning. It's warm in my sleeping bag. I actually slept really, really well. But I let the stove just go out, so it's very cold in here. Definitely need to get a fire going, and then check and see exactly how cold it is outside. Fire is rolling, and that should get this place warming up in no time. And the temperature right now is -10. Oh my gosh. Packing up is not going to be fun at all. But first we got to just have some coffee and let the sun come up. Well, we got some coffee. Gonna sit here and enjoy it for a little bit in the nice warm tent, and then after that we're gonna look at starting to get out of here. I think I'm gonna do it in 2 trips for Ellie's sake. I'm gonna leave the tent up, keep the stove going, and pack up as much gear as I can besides that in the sled, and then I'll come back for the tent and the stove and let Ellie just kind of warm up in the truck. It is cold. The first thing I'm going to do here is start up the snowmobile, let it warm up while I pack up the first round of cargo. Oh boy, because it's so cold, this might take a couple extra pulls. Let's find out. There's one. Come on, baby. There we go. All right, guys, we're gonna get Ellie out of here. Come on, girl. Good job. All right, let's do this. Good girl. All right, now let's make sure the car will start. Success. All right, we'll get the heat pumping in here for Al and go back for another load. All right, just got to tear down the tent, cool off the stove, and then we'll be out of here again. All right, guys, got the tent down, stove is out. We've left a nice haul of firewood for the next guests. And just like that, it's time to make the second and final trip back to the truck. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for coming along. I'm reminded once again just how brutal the winters can be here in Minnesota, but how beautiful it is at the same time. Also, you know, hot tent camping is more challenging or strenuous than I remember it to be. You know, even with like a snowmobile to haul gear, it takes a while to set things up. You need a lot of firewood, and it's certainly not as turnkey as my little cabins are. But you know, it was an awesome experience. We had a lot of fun, and I'll definitely be doing it again. Now, I want to give a special shout out to our patrons who generously donate to this channel. Thank you guys so much. But again, to all of you who watch and support this channel, it means the world to us. I'm humbled and honored to be able to go out and make videos for you guys on a weekly basis. But with that, it's time to get home to the family. I'll see you guys next week. God bless.